The best way to create a legacy is through a book. That is why the leader in integral beauty, CEO and founder of Global Integral Beauty, 𝘚𝘵 Bailey, has designed the book Global Experts in Integral Beauty with the purpose of connecting professionals worldwide who inspire and transform the community of health, wellness, and aesthetic professionals. Through this bestseller book, you can reach millions of people, increase your brand's credibility and visibility. Position yourself as a global expert in holistic beauty by sharing your story and career path in your own chapter of the book, Global Holistic Beauty, Second Edition.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that context there. And yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I think it's such an important subject. 10 years ago, really the beauty industry started to kind of go in the direction where it became required for beauty professionals to enroll in liability insurance in some cases, whether you are renting a chair at a salon or now, of course, in the vastly growing salon suite rental space. If you're going to rent your own suite from one of those models, in most cases, they're going to require you to carry a component of liability insurance. And it's to protect you as a beauty professional, esthetician, cosmetologist, hairstylist, whatever you might be. It's also to protect the business. Now, interestingly enough, we find that in most cases, beauty professionals are really great at what they do. They're not cutting somebody's ear. They're not really hurting somebody. So it's, hopefully this liability insurance component is something you would never use. But because we're in the business that we're in, every day we do see very large claims come in, sometimes life-altering or career-changing claims that come in that had that beauty professional not had liability insurance. Again, it could be a drastic, life-altering event that occurs. Even clients that you've had for 10, 20, 30 years, we hear stories all the time about an incident occurring. And, you would never think twice about a client that you've been working with for 20 years. But it was actually Eric Taylor over at Salon Republic laid out a story for me fairly recently about, a client that was sitting in one of his tenant's chairs. And again, 20, 30-year client, an incident occurs. That person, I think, fell off their chair. They hurt themselves. Everything was fine. They continued their haircut, moved along. 3 months later or so, a claim came in. It was like a 7-figure claim. And again, thankfully the person it wasn't a 7-figure claim, it was a 6-figure claim, but thankfully the person had liability insurance to be able to cover the legal fees and everything that came from that. Stories we hear all the time. So how to protect your business? What is the most important components to look for in terms of protecting your business, making sure that you're not going to have this life-altering event? Well, the first thing you want to do is whenever you're either working at a salon or going to either rent a space, rent a chair, whatever it might be, first off, understand what is required of you. Are you going to be required to carry liability insurance? By the way, even if you're not required to carry liability insurance, we still highly recommend that you do. Your work there not only will be covered, but if you do any side work, freelance work, or work at any other location, it would be covered. Our program, which by the way, I'm not here just to speak on our program, but insurance in general. But our program, like almost all others in the space, is bound to a single country code. Our program covers folks who are in the United States. So I just want to be clear about that. Elite Beauty Society specifically, we cover folks in the United States. And again, almost every liability insurance is tied to a single country because every country has different laws and regulations around it. So it's really hard to get one that travels across. But anyway, that being said, what do you need? First off, find out what's required of you. But there's two main components that in almost every case you absolutely need to have. One is called professional liability. Professional liability is that malpractice insurance. So an incident due to the negligence of the provider. So again, if you've sliced somebody's ear or something of that nature, an incident of that nature, that would be covered under professional liability. Our program covers that up to $2 million per occurrence or up to $3 million per year. Fairly standard coverage amounts within our industry. They're excessive, they're high, but in some cases, some places require that amount. That's why we built it at that level. We also include, and this is another very important component, general liability insurance. General liability is what's known in the marketplace as like the slip and fall insurance. So for instance, if something, let's say water was leaking from the roof, and then the person got out of your chair, slipped and fell and hit their head, that would be covered under general liability. Something that we found within our business is that we have a lot more claims come in for general liability than we do professional liability. And I find that to be a good story to tell. And the reason I find it to be a good story to tell is, to me, that means our professionals are excellent at what they do. Again, they put their time, effort, and attention into developing their craft. So they're really good at making sure they're not hurting anybody, but it is really difficult to foresee that freak accident, that water dripping from the ceiling that could potentially cause an incident. So important that you're covered for both professional and general liability. Our program adds some additional components that we found to be meaningful to an independent beauty professional or a business owner. So we also include something called product liability. We specifically earmark a separate component of coverage in case, let's say, an allergic reaction is caused from a product that you use in somebody's hair, or an equipment that you use might cause some type of injury. That's all covered specifically under product coverage, which is a part of our program, is covered up to $2 million per incident and per year. Additionally, our program comes with, or includes, I should say, rental damage insurance. And that's covered up to $100,000. So if you are going to either rent a salon suite, or even if you're going to open up your own salon and have independent contractors, in almost every case, that rental agreement is going to require some type of rental damage insurance. In most cases, that number is negotiable. So if they ask you for $300,000, almost every case you can negotiate it down to $100,000. But our program comes with $100,000 worth of rental damage insurance. It also includes two more components, one being $1,000 of stolen or damaged equipment insurance. So if you're using anything that you use within the scope of practice, whether it's your scissors, which I know could be very high dollar, it could be an iPad or an iPhone that you use within your business. If that's stolen or damaged, it's covered up to $1,000. And then we also include $25,000 of identity theft. And that's really just to round out our program. We did find that a lot of folks that get licensed in the cosmetology space become susceptible to cyber attacks because they're part of a large electronic database. And so that identity theft component has been very meaningful to what we do. So the biggest thing that I would encourage you to do is to, if you need liability, if you're required to carry liability insurance, find out at what level you're required and all the insurances that you need, and then match up the program based on that. If you need rental damage, you need general and professional, our program covers all of that, and there's a few programs out there that do as well. Another thing to be mindful of is make sure that whatever you're specifically practicing is covered by the insurance company that you're working with. So if you do, microblading, if you do, ombre brows, or if you do any of the components, whatever it is that you specialize in, make sure when you talk to the insurance company, you ask the agent if they cover what you specifically do. We just find that in a lot of cases, there's some companies that are out there promoting their liability insurance and they have tons of exclusions and tons of restrictions. So it's just very important that you ask these questions. We go to great lengths, again, to kind of remove as many exclusions as possible and to get approval for as many modalities within the beauty space as possible. And so every time a new modality comes our way, they say, hey, is this covered? We go to our underwriters, we have them review it. And if it's if they feel comfortable to keep it within our scope of practice or scope of coverage, we get an email back, a paper trail saying it is covered, and then we can add it to the list of modalities, which is on our site. And our site is elitebeautysociety.com, which, by the way, we will have a unique discount for everybody within the Global Integral Beauty audience that they can take advantage of. But since this is a very new partnership, we're still working on some of those pieces, but we will get it out to your larger community in general. So those are the main components we encourage you to look for, to ask in terms of insurance. But did just want to mention a couple of value points or a couple of additional things about the way we approach this business. And I'm sure, and again, I'm not trying to sell our program over others. Find a liability insurance that works for you. But a couple of things that we do is we are constantly negotiating with products and services and businesses within the industry so that we can offer discounts to our customers that are meaningful to them. So those discounts could be on tools, they could be on products, they could be on continuing education. They can be on, things that you sell on your back bar. So if you become a member of Elite Beauty Society, our liability insurance, you get access not only to all of these industry discounts, of course, all of the insurance components. And then thirdly, our program also comes with an entire insurance marketplace. So if you need group rates on dental insurance or vision insurance, or even a concierge service that'll help you find the best healthcare plan in the marketplace, our program allows you or gives you access to all of those components. So I encourage you to kind of take a look at what we do, take a look at what other folks do, and really see what works best for your business. And I will give my and our team's contact information at the end of this. So if there's any questions available from or that you guys want answered, please let us know. We are an open book and we want to answer everything. First off, I want to see if that makes sense. 𝘚𝘵, am I on the right track here? And if I don't know if questions come in or how this might work.
Well, Joe, I really appreciate for your information because definitely we have to be focused in prevention. Prevention is the key word for all our life, in professional life and personal life. And also, I'm very focused working in a group, in professional group, health, wellness, and aesthetics. Because I work in this special community, it's a global community. I know that you are locally here in the United States also, but it's very important to start to work for each one as a prevention, because everyone wants to grow, to continue in this amazing community. But if we don't start for the principal part, that is to be safe ourselves, we're never going to take care about our patient in the same way. And that's why your information, your base information is good. Again, he is not trying to solve any insurance because that's not the idea. The idea is, as I told you, work as a community, help each other, educate ourselves, try to build in protocols, in global integral beauty, help each other for a good database. For example, Dr. Lisa is coming now and she's in Hong Kong, but she's doing amazing work. So we can call her, we can work with her with a special protocol, and also we can have their consultation virtually today. So we have different options to work together. So that's why we invite you today. But any question that you have after this presentation today, after this seminar, we can do directly to him or through us. He is very open to work with this community. He is very interesting because this is his target, all the health, wellness, and aesthetics in United States. So thank you, Joe. Thank you for your presentation. And also, I just want to know, just an idea, exactly what is the areas in beauty that you are covering, just to be, I hear about the massage therapy, about microneedling, I believe. What exactly career are you focused on? Maybe they have more idea.
Sure. No, thank you. And a great, first off, great observations all around about the need for protection. I thank you so much for focusing your attention on that, because I feel like in a lot of cases, we put so much time, effort, and attention into developing our practice. Some of these very important business components may get overlooked. And I just appreciate your focus and attention on it because it is so important to what we do. And the answer is, in terms of what our program covers, for the most part, we cover all the main cosmetology, makeup, aesthetics work that you would find in a general salon and or spa. Some of the stuff that might be excluded from what we do would be some of the more medical spa style or invasive procedures.
Like injectable, more invasive.
Yes, more invasive injectables. Now, we did add on coverage for microblading. There's an additional cost to it. It's not part of our main component of coverage. So our main coverage in the retail rate is only $169 for the entire year. So it's a very low cost component. If you wanted to add microblading, which includes ombre brows and such, that's an additional $499. It's still the lowest cost we've found in the marketplace. But I say that because that is kind of the top level that we do cover, at least our program does today. So things beyond microblading, like permanent makeup or tattooing or things that are more invasive or the use of lasers, would be outside of our scope of coverage. And we would encourage you to look into more of a medical spa style type of coverage. But if you are within the ecosystem of a general hairstylist, again, makeup artist, nail tech, esthetician working in a salon or spa, and in most cases, we cover everything that you would do. But for your specific unique scenario, I would just encourage you to kind of call our agent team, talk about what you do, and if we can't cover you, they would at least give you some general guidance on where you should go.